The Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am the father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right, hello everyone. You're looking live at Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talks, and I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, aka Jules, and I'm joined with my dad, Cowboy Joe 64 on Twitter, and I'm joined with my cousin, Monica McCarley. I talk about her on our show. I always refer to her as Super Monica because she's a super mom. She's a mommy manager, and she's a founder of Clay's Color Crew. So we're gonna do something special with her today. We're gonna interview her and just kind of chop it up and bring awareness to the foundation and some other things. And so you wanted to say something there? You want to introduce her before you jump into the interview and the questions and everything?
So appreciate you guys joining our show. And Monica, again, thanks for joining. We've been trying to do this for a while, and we finally were able to pull it off. And so we're excited about what we're going to get into. And so you forgot one of the most important things. She is the mom of Colin Simmons, the UT Texas Longhorn sensation. So
That's right.
um, we are glad to have her on and really excited about what Colin is doing on and off the field. So, Monica, again, welcome. You want to just say hi right quick and then we'll get started?
Thank you. Um, yeah, of course. Appreciate the accolades.
Hmm.
Okay. And we're
So
going to go ahead and just jump in, Jules, and we're not going to keep her on long.
and
And
then Colin is number 8 player overall in college football. So somebody asked me last week what was his rank. They thought he was ranked number 1. So he's ranked number 8. And he's probably I would guess he would have to be the number 1 defensive player. I would guess, but I'm finna find out though. But you can go
yeah, I
ahead.
would be curious to know who's ranked over him.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, let's get started. So Monica, we're just gonna go back and just talk about the Redbird Raiders. So that's an Oak Cliff Little League program. So what made you guys choose the Redbird Raiders over other Little League teams?
Like the Oak
Let
Cliff
me
Titans.
start off by saying he was supposed to go to the Titans. That was actually my decision for him to go to the Titans. But at the time, I was married to Clayton's dad, and that was the team that was in his old neighborhood um, that he kind of grew up watching. So that's where he wanted him to play.
And so one of the things we're gonna talk about is just how we're just all aligned. So we did mention earlier that we're cousins, so we're first cousins. We want to get that out the way. And what's kind of odd about our families, I think I'm the senior cousin. So in black families, when you have the old cousin, he's often referred to as uncle cousin. So that's me. I'm Uncle Cousin
Yes,
Joe, which is kind of weird for you guys because your 2 sisters and your brother Jason. We're cousins, but
our
yeah, but
our
I'm really the uncle because I'm the older guy. But I wear it
yeah,
proudly.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
just,
so
it's
yeah,
like
go
a
ahead, Jules.
just like a respect thing in the
it
black
is.
household. You know,
It
like I
Oh, for
got
is.
a
sure.
lot of cousins like that I call my aunts and uncles because it just doesn't seem right to call them cousin. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Right, right,
it's
right.
just a respect thing. That's all.
And we had the same confusion with cousin Kim. He doesn't know
Yeah,
whether to call her Aunt Kim or cousin Kim, so it's the
yeah.
Yeah,
same type of thing.
I
So
say the same thing to her.
you do?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Now
call
let
her
me
aunt.
ask you, and I should know this. So who's the oldest, you or Cole?
I'm older, so we're about 6 months apart. So I was born in April. He was born in December of
Okay.
'82. So,
Okay. All right. I knew you guys were right there together. Okay, so
hmm
we'll talk about Cole later. But let's go back to Redbird because that's where I grew up. That's my hood, and it's a historical neighborhood. So back in my day, the some of the best little league teams played at Redbird, and they changed the name to Thurgood Marshall later, which is that came after my time. But yeah, that neighborhood, that recreation center, it was legendary back in my day. So for him to just start his career there is really just really wonderful to see. So let me ask you, so with the Redbird Raiders, do you remember the moment when you said to yourself, he can really play big time college, not college, but high school football?
nope.
You
There
don't?
was never a moment. So I have to give some background. I am not a sports person. I just learned football probably Colin's junior year of high school. I was just a big supporter of my kid, and we put him in sports all year round because his energy level was here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So he just needed something to do, and that's just really what happened. He hated football. To be honest with
Mm.
you, I really just made him play because it was
He wanted
nothing
to
else
play
to do.
basketball. Yeah,
Well,
he was.
even at that time, he was what, 4? I think he started off playing soccer. He started off playing soccer and base and t-ball, but soccer was okay. T-ball was too slow.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So that was at 3 years old. Then at 4, he could start playing flag football and basketball. So he actually, you know what? He played for the Titans basketball team 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year. I
See
think he
now.
was like 6.
Now, Jules, we trying to figure. I'm trying to figure that out now. He gonna do Titans this year, flag.
Mhm.
We gonna see how he likes that. Because these kids nowadays they don't like to be physical like how we used to be back in the day.
Mm-mm.
All that running into it, tackling into each other, they don't really like that. So
No, they
we gonna
don't.
see. We gonna see. But I remember when I just knew that Colin was gonna be different for sure. When I was like I forgot what it was we were doing, but I don't know if it was Christmas or if it was I don't know what it was. It might have been Christmas or Easter, but we had came over there and we was all out in the back playing basketball. And see, Colin was probably about like I don't know. I want to say he was 10 or 11 or something like that. He might have been like in the sixth grade, going to the seventh or something like that. But I was just like you know, at that time, I don't know how old I was. I was probably a teenager. I was probably like 19, maybe something like that. But I was thinking that I was gonna go out here and I was gonna play them, and I was gonna be able to look little cousin them like big cousin them like I normally do. I'm gonna be faster. I'm gonna be better and all of that. But Colin was just like it was just like okay. I was just like wait a minute. Okay, now he can really play and he can
Yeah.
and he's really big and he is really like, okay, I really would have to give my, like he probably could beat me back then, just be 100. You know what I mean? That's what I realized. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be Colin's gonna be different for sure. If he do the athlete route, he gonna be cold at whatever he do. So
I
I
didn't
just,
really know that though,
hey,
Julian. I had no idea. Like people kept saying it, and I just was still like, okay, well, it is what it is. I wasn't. My whole mindset was education, education, education. The sports is just
mm-hmm,
secondary for me.
yeah,
So I always just tried to make sure that he was really good in the classroom.
no, for
It
sure.
had I had no clue we would be here.
Well, see, when you a man and you kind of when you a boy, a growing man, and then you understand, like sports was our number one thing. We love sports. So
Yeah,
when you see other family members, playing sports, it's like you can tell if they're gonna be good or not. Like like with my size, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to go play college ball. I just wasn't gifted to be that big. If I was bigger, I probably would have. But that's just a thing. But Colin was just he was one of them ones for sure.
Yep. And you were a good little league player too, Julian. And
I was.
so, another self-disclosure. So my uncle was, of course, your dad number two there, Paul, and we're gonna talk about him a little bit. But um, so he had his career with the Redbird Raiders, and we went to his jersey retirement ceremony for the Redbird Raiders, which was really cool. And I'm
Unique.
thinking it kind of caught him by surprise. He was a little emotional at that event. So they retired his number from the Redbird Raiders, and then he started, of course, his career at Duncanville. Now, at Duncanville, let's just talk about the program itself. So the legendary coach, Coach Samples. So before Collins' time, they played North Shore, which is the high school out of Houston, and Coach Samples had never won a state championship before, and they lost on a Hail Mary to North Shore with about 3 seconds left. The game was won. Now, do you remember watching that game? Was Colin
I
in
do
junior high
remember this.
then?
So they were already like the high school had already been having Colin come up to the games.
Okay.
Um, and he would be in like the what do you call it, the sports box,
Mm-hmm.
wherever
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
announcers are. He would go up there and watch the games while he was in middle school.
Okay.
They had already been like looking at him in middle school, and so I remember that game because I remember. I think one of the coaches. I think he ended up riding with the team to the game,
Okay.
so he went to the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it
So
was. I think it was at the baseball stadium.
okay. So he
Anyway,
was in junior high then.
he was in junior high.
Okay.
Yes,
So heartbreaking game. They lost at the last second. And just watching the game live, I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then
I
later
know.
on, so now as a sophomore, I believe they played them again when he was a sophomore. Was that a different team his sophomore year?
No, it was them
It was North
again.
Shore. Okay.
Hmm.
So they played North Shore his sophomore year, another close game. They ended up losing at the end. It wasn't as tough because it wasn't the last second loss. And then, so let's just go to his junior year now. His junior year,
Yeah.
they played North Shore again for the state championship.
Yeah.
Now, I actually got to the game late, so I wasn't able to get up to you guys. Security wouldn't let me get up there where you guys were.
Oh,
So I
okay.
got there in the second quarter,
Uh-huh.
but I was down near the goal line because his junior year, Jules, if you have the game, we were looking at it. So North Shore is driving in the last minute or so of the game. And, they say football is a game of inches. So North Shore drove all the way down the field.
Hmm.
They needed one first down to extend the drive. And it was like a fourth and inches. And Duncanville stopped them just 1 inch. Now, if they had got that first down, I think North Shore wins the game. Now, what I heard, I wasn't able to make it up to you guys, but I heard you were on the floor of the suite in the final seconds. Is that correct?
I was so nervous the whole time because, mind you, Sock played that day, DeSoto played that day, and then Duncanville
Mm-hmm.
was last. So we
Yep.
had to sweep the whole day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think up until that time, like, I was just nervous. I was so nervous because basically this was his first time um basically starting in
Yep.
playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just made me nervous.
Man, I had my head down in that drive. I just couldn't. It was one of those drives where I was just like, I was nervous. I couldn't
Yeah.
really watch it. But I felt like they was gonna get a stop because they had been. I just felt like they was overwhelming them at that point. But I still was just like they
Oh, they
that
definitely look tired.
yeah. But that
Yeah.
quarterback that came out of nowhere because we didn't even know who he was, and he was giving them the business. He
And
was
he
he was
wasn't their
Yeah.
main quarterback. He was the backup.
correct. That's why I said he came out of nowhere. We didn't even know who he was, and he was
Yeah.
balling.
So I was sitting there kind of like on the 20-yard line when they made the stop, and I believe Colin just took off and ran down the field after the game was over. So I came up to the suite after the game. You were down on the field celebrating. So, when that game was over, just to kind of talk about your emotions, his junior year, he gets a state championship. He's the MVP of the game. Just kind of take us back to what that was like when you was down on the field.
It was probably one of my most proudest moments for him during his high school career as an athlete, um, because they had worked so hard. Like, the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into getting to that moment is like the parents have to work overtime too. So it was up and down the street for practice, Saturday practices. You can't do anything. You can't have a Thanksgiving. Like, I wasn't allowed to go visit my Houston family. It was
Mhm.
just a lot. And they
Hmm.
start in the summertime. They
Mhm.
start strength and conditioning in the summertime, and it's like football is on up until December for sure.
It's a
Yeah.
full-time sport.
It's a
I'm trying to
full
find.
time.
I'm trying to find a video. I had took a video at that game. I had took a few videos at that game.
So that game is over. You guys get the state championship his junior year, and Coach Samples, that was his first time winning state after all of these years. Just an amazing
Yes.
moment for him after all of the heartbreak, and for Colin to get that done his junior year. And then his senior year, you play North Shore again. This time, just I was there. I made it up to the suite this time, but it really wasn't a close game. But it kind of was. That Duncanville got out to a big lead. North Shore came back a little bit. It never was in doubt like the year before. You were relaxed just based on what I could see. You might have been nervous. I couldn't tell,
I think
but
I was just busy hosting. I wasn't really watching the game like I.
yeah. Well, we were enjoying the food. but you were a great
Yeah.
host. But I couldn't tell that you were nervous. You was kind of chill to
No,
me.
not that year. I wasn't nervous. I knew that they had it in the bag. The only thing I
Hmm.
was nervous about, fun fact, Colin was really injured. He was
Okay.
playing.
Remember that they put him on it. I
Oh
can't.
yes,
They put him on the
he
big
was
screen.
playing with. He was playing with the hurt ankle.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember he was injured earlier during the year. Yeah.
So I
Yeah, he
think I
was.
was I was nervous about that because I don't know if they knew he was hurting. You know
Hmm.
how people target. So
Yeah.
I was just more concerned that I wanted him to come out of that game injury free and not to
Yeah.
re-injure his ankle, if that makes
Man,
sense.
that's just so crazy how I remember that because I remember you was telling me that, and I was just like, no, Colin is the real deal to where it's like if he injured, he might not need to play in this game. Like we got to get him out of this game with no injuries. Like that was like
That's the
like
thing. That's the thing, though, Julian. It doesn't matter. Let
yeah.
me
Hmm.
I
another
was
fun
nervous.
fact.
I was nervous because I was like he
Another
really got
fun
to miss
fact,
the game.
Julian. Hold on, y'all. Colin was injured this past season too.
Oh, like
Mm.
this year? Yeah,
He
no, I
played through his. He was injured. He had a groin injury.
Mm.
He had
Yeah.
surgery in February.
Well, we're
we
gonna talk about the Ohio State game. You couldn't tell because he was being held the whole game, but that's a whole nother story.
yeah,
So
that's
let's
So
go
it's
to yeah, yeah.
yeah. He just
So
wants to play. He doesn't. It doesn't. He don't care.
you got to take
yeah,
care of
and
his body for sure though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of like the decision that these players are kind of put in, and that's kind
Yeah.
of part of the deal. And it's tough on the parents too. We're gonna talk about more about the parent part. So then he goes from Duncanville, and he has to make the major decision about which college to go to. Now, I had my college selected the whole time. I wasn't, of course, saying anything about who I wanted him to pick. But so just talk about the recruiting visits, how that went, and just talk about you being on those trips, going to all those
Mhm.
schools.
Oh my gosh, it was really a great run. I felt like I was in a suitcase. We were doing trips like twice a month.
How many schools,
Um,
if you had to guess?
he had 45 offers. How many schools did he actually visit?
Mhm.
A lot.
What's the farthest
Uh,
y'all went? Do you remember?
we did Oregon.
Okay,
We did Miami.
that's about
He
as far
went
as you can go,
to
especially Oregon.
he went to Arizona State without me.
Okay.
So probably, yeah, those may have been the furthest places he's gone.
Shout out to Jason. He watching. He just made a
Yo,
comment. And
what's
Junior
up,
too.
cuz? Hey,
Junior be
Junior.
balling too. Yeah.
So then you had the announcement day, the school that he chose, and what I thought was really cool was you had pictures up on the table, all the family members, and you had a picture of Paul, my uncle. We call him B in our family. You know that. But just to kind of have him, represented up there, and it's really just amazing the way everything kind of turned out. And of course, he's no longer with us, but he is with us. But he was a huge football fan, and him and Colin were really close. So you guys had his picture up there. That was really really special. And then so just kind of talk about the decision to go for him to go to UT. Just kind of how you kind of fell on that, and what's the experience been like just being at UT?
So to be honest with you, I didn't know what school he was gonna pick. I left it to him. All I know is at the very end of the recruiting process, right before he was gonna commit, we took a trip. We cut off our phones, went on Do Not Disturb. We just went in, did jet skis. We kind of just had fun, did a little
Hmm.
shopping, get your mind off of it, buy your outfit for your commitment day, all of that kind of stuff, right? And then when we got well on our way home, I said you need to go ahead and get your speech together, So while we were driving home, get home and we're still talking. We're still talking. And he kept saying, "Mom, what should I do? Where should I go?" Say, "I'm not making this decision for you." I said, "Listen, I'm not. You're not gonna be 35 saying my mama made me." So
Yeah.
I just told him, this is really your decision. You have so many options, and so that night we did our pros and cons for each school,
Hmm.
and then he made a choice. And the next day, we all found out.
Yeah, was I know I was super excited because Texas is just like it is our favorite school. I mean, I don't know if it's just because we live here and
Yeah,
Austin down the street or whatever, but I don't know. And then I went to school. I went to HT, so UT just really grew on me when I went to HT because I had never been to a college campus like that. It's like a city, so it's
yeah,
just
it
like
is.
and Austin, I always say Austin, it's crazy that I'm back in Dallas because if I would have chose, I would have stayed in Austin because
Yeah,
it was that much fun. It was just, it was everything. Living in Austin was very fun for me, and it was a very pivotal point in my life. So I love
it's
Austin.
pretty progressive right now. Like it's,
It
I don't
is.
know the last time y'all been to Austin, but every other car is a self-driving car.
See,
It's
they was doing
wild.
that. They was doing that back then.
Ooh,
They was doing like people was driving bikes on the freeway and stuff like that. Like
yeah,
stuff that you never see. Like Domino delivery. Like they had the delivery bots back then. Like that was
yeah.
crazy. You order a pizza and a robot bring it to you. So it was just like they
It's
had a lot of stuff like that going on back then. So I
yeah,
can only
yeah.
imagine what it is now.
Oh, it's full of tech. That's
Yeah.
all I
Hmm.
know. Full of
Mhm.
So
tech for sure.
I was a of course, a Earl Campbell guy back in the
Hey,
day. And
Jeremy.
hey, Jeremy,
Sorry.
thanks for joining. Um, so I
What's
was
up,
an
bro?
Earl Campbell guy back in the day, and of course, Vince Young when they won the football championship when they played USC. So,
Mm-hmm.
Texas, you get a degree from there. You really can't go wrong. And we would have all been fine with any school he picked, but
Yeah.
it was really exciting that he did pick Texas. So, just everything and worked out real good there. Then, of course, his freshman year, had the great year, was freshman of the year. Sean Alexander's won that award. So, talk about that ceremony and what that was like, him being named freshman of the year. All of the United States, your son is the freshman of the year.
That's crazy.
Listen, it was pretty cool because he wasn't the only person who won an award that night. So I got a chance to meet so many people that have been um, making impacts in football that night. And it was just really nice. It was really, really nice. It was at the College Hall of Fame. So just that whole experience, to be honest with you, it was just really exciting
Now, was
Yeah.
to
Sean
experience.
Alexander there?
He was, yes, he presented
Okay.
the award.
Okay. Go
Man,
ahead, Jules.
I was talking to my I guess you can call him cousin-in-law last weekend. We were sitting outside and he was talking about Colin. Now he always talks about Colin, but I mean like he was talking about Colin and and he was just like telling me all Colin stats that I mean I would know him if I googled him, but he knew the stats off the top of his head and he was talking about the stats from Colin in high school and his senior year and he was like, I didn't even know that was your cousin. And he was just like talking about Colin, like, and I was just like, yo, that's crazy and how far, Colin has like, like this random person would be talking to me about Colin and they're so familiar with him. It was just
Yeah.
mind blowing to me. For me, I was just sitting back like that's wow. That's powerful, really. It really is.
So real quick, let's talk about the Arizona State game. So it was very similar to the North Shore games. So
Scatterboo. Scatterboo.
yeah, I couldn't watch the last few minutes. Now the game to me, Texas had it in hand, and then they went into overtime. Now in overtime, I had to go outside. I couldn't watch it. So when I came
Hey,
back in, Sherry told me who won, but I couldn't. Now what were you doing during that game? What was
Oh
happening
my
there?
God. So I did the same thing, Uncle Cousin Joe. Like I literally got up out my seat because I go to all the games, but I got up out my seat and went out. I just went to the restroom, regrouped, and stood in the hallway. And another parent from the others from the other team from Arizona State, me and her friends, she was in the lobby. And so we were both standing there just watching TV and I'm like bent over, just nervous, so nervous. And then, oh my God, I can't believe they won that game. Like it just even right now gives me chills just thinking about it.
Yeah, me too. And it was like what it was like New Year's, right? It was New Year's or was it Christmas? It was one of them,
I
right?
think it was New Year's Eve weekend.
New Year's
I
Eve
think it
weekend.
was. I
Yeah.
Cause
think
we
it
was out of
was.
town. We was in Houston, and we was watching it as a family in Houston. Like we was all watching it, and it was just crazy. And Scatterboo had been talking noise all before, and it was just like
Oh yes. Oh, that
and
was
then
so fun. That was
yeah,
it was fun. It was nerve wracking. It was all the emotions. I think
all
we
of it.
did this the whole night. Everybody was
Well,
just like, "What is going on?"
those
It was
field
probably the most
goals.
exciting game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say the most exciting game. I say yeah, cause we pulled it out.
Yeah,
Ohio State
Yeah.
was good. Georgia was good, but yeah, that probably was the most exciting game because we
that was
won.
probably yeah. I
Yeah,
think
So
we everybody continues to talk about that one game. I
yeah,
know
that was
they lost other games, but that one game,
yeah.
I think
yeah.
everybody's like, "What did you think about that Arizona State game?" Like, I
That
don't
was
even know what to think about it.
that put Arizona State on the map to me. I wasn't even
Oh yeah,
really
for sure.
familiar with them, but after that game, I've been paying attention to them.
For
So
sure.
then we have the Ohio State game, and they didn't win that game. They played really good. Now, strangely enough, I wasn't really nervous during the Ohio State game. I stayed with it, watched the whole game, and that was probably Collins' best game. He was being held the whole game, whether he was hurt or not.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what happens at that position there. But so they didn't get the win, but it's I'm thinking it's going to be just like in high school. He'll come back and get a couple of probably college championships. I want to ask you, our parents, they have that nervous parent energy. If your kids are playing football or gymnastics, whatever the case may be, on game day, do you get up and like drink 10 cups of coffee and four Bloody Marys? Like, what do you do game day just to get rid of the anxiety?
I think because we're so used to winning that I don't really have a routine or anything that I do to get ready for the game or anything like that. I just kind of like just do a prayer and just I'm praying for no kids to have any injuries. That's really my one ritual is to just pray about injuries. Injuries are just I don't want anybody to be hurt. So but no, I don't. I probably should though, huh? I should
I mean,
probably
don't
have
No,
change it. Don't change
yeah,
it now.
don't change your thing, your
I
juju.
don't. No, I really don't get nervous anymore. Like I got nervous. I did get nervous at the Ohio State game. That was probably the only game I was. That one in Michigan, like the first game of the season, I was. Oh my god! I think that we. And so what's crazy is Collins' agency had a tailgate that morning, so I didn't know it was a thing for people to drink in the morning.
The college games,
Oh man,
Yes, I didn't know.
that's all
So that
they
was my
do.
first one, like tailgating.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
nah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
gotta
it
be,
was
you gotta be
they
ready
went
to
all
rock and
out.
roll. Yeah, you gotta be ready to rock and roll.
Yes, they went all out that game. So thank God that happened. I had a little cocktail, so I kind of calmed down a little bit. But that one was I was nervous in that game. But then I got excited because he got his first sack. So
And this year you
Uh,
guys are going to Ohio State, which is I don't know why they happen to play Michigan and Ohio State on the road 2 years in a row. That's weird.
I don't
But
know.
yeah.
I have no
So
clue. They just want to give it to us now that we're in the SEC, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
that's cool
So
though because we can handle it.
And so Julian and I, we're gonna come to an early game this year. I
Okay.
love September football. Like the weather is perfect, and so we're gonna make it to a game and just kind of take it all in. And so
Mhm.
just real excited about what he's doing. And like I said, Paul would be just through the roof about what's happening
Oh
with him.
my
And speak
God.
and yeah, mhm.
I think about that all the time though, y'all. Like it
Yeah,
we probably wouldn't be able to calm him down.
yeah.
He
Mhm.
would just
What was
probably
I be thinking? What would his role be besides being himself? What would his role be? Whatever it would
he would
be,
take over my role.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because
He would
I remember going, I remember like going to the not the well, it is the Cotton Bowl, but Grambling and Prairie View game. Like your dad would take me to the
Mhm.
Grambling and Prairie View game every year, and we would go, and we would always start out sitting up at the top, and then as the game went on, whoever's not sitting down in their seats at the bottom, we would move down, and we would move down, and so it was just I always remember that about how he used to
Yeah.
take me to the games, and then we used to go to the fair and the stuff that I couldn't do with my parents, he would let me do. Like we would just play the games and the rides that it was just every year that was an awesome experience for me, just
Oh, for
straight up.
sure.
Yeah, so I can only imagine he would be through the roof. I know he is through the
Ooh,
roof. But
he
I
probably listen. He would be the celebrity for sure. He was
look at
already known by the city. He would definitely. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
look what
For
Kyron
sure.
said. Shout out to Kyron. Look what Kyron said. He said, "Fun fact: Colin is the top 5 defensive player in NCAA 25 and in real life on Pro Football Focus." Now, how dope is that?
Oh,
You know what I'm
Yeah,
that
saying?
is super
that's
dope.
amazing.
That is amazing.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
So
Super dope. Yeah.
now we're gonna talk about Clay's Color Crew. So
Yeah.
that's kind of an extension of Paul too. So my uncle, so he had the La Cima Foundation, which served the Oak Cliff community. He did a lot of work with people that had HIV/AIDS issues, other stuff like that, and so
Substance
at that
abuse.
time, yeah,
Hmm.
substance abuse. At that time, it really wasn't a lot of people doing that kind of work in the community, and he did an amazing job with his foundation. And I was telling you offline that one of the regrets I have is that at that time, I was just starting my career, raising a family, so I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with him, with his foundation. But so now that brings us to Clay's Color Crew,
I say I
which
did.
is the foundation that you and Colin started, and you guys had your event a few weeks ago. So tell us about why you guys decided to start the foundation, Clay's Color Crew.
So Clay's Color Crew was birthed out of struggle. So we live on the south side of Dallas, and
Bruh. I love
there's
this side. These
nothing
kids are cared.
Hold
My
on,
bad.
Jules.
My bad.
nothing for children with autism to do. Like
Mm.
absolutely nothing. The services are terrible. When Clay got diagnosed with autism, it took me to. He was almost 5 years old, and it was because he was on a waiting list for a very long time. And even after that, trying to get services was just difficult. Like I drove. So just imagine me trying to work a full-time job and take my baby to North Dallas to get speech therapy, Waxahachie to get occupational therapy. I was just all over the place. And so I was like, you know what? I know it's people like me in our community who are struggling to get our kids
Assisted.
services.
Yeah, services. It was
So I
just.
was just like, you know what? And to have friendship and community. So
Hmm.
like my son has never been invited to a birthday party outside of family.
Wow,
Wow.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So just things like that, getting these kids. I'm sorry, y'all, my allergies are really bothering me.
No, you're
Um,
good.
getting him like friendship and community is very important to me. So we have a few things coming up. We're brewing for our special babies to be able to just do different things, be included and celebrated and things like that. So, yes, we just had Clay's Color Crew and Colin put on the first football camp. It was a success. I absolutely was so happy about it. I'm just so glad that you guys were able to come and experience it as well.
Hmm.
Thank you for
So
bringing Jules out.
yeah, so let's talk about the camp. So we do have a video, Julian. You can play the audio. So we're gonna show this video right quick, Monica. So
All
maybe
right.
if you can get the audio to work, Julian.
Yeah.
Love it, dog. They got so much like emotion, so many feelings, so many just everything. They just know how to express themselves in many different ways, and I just love that. family on three, family on me. One, two, three.
Don't you want some medal? What about the medal, man?
These kids are characters, and I love
Yeah,
it,
that was
So
man. I
awesome.
love it,
there
bro.
was I got that video actually off your mom's Facebook page. So shout out to my aunt Ramona Thomas Clarkson, your mom. And so we was talking about my Uncle Paul earlier, and so I was telling you, and I told you some stories about him that I don't even think you knew. So growing up in his family, he was kind of that kid that he was having issues, and just the family support and all of that was really big for him. He just kind of came out of his shell, and man, just an amazing person. The back part of his life. And so one thing I thought that was really special about what you and Colin did with the foundation is it's not a lot of kids that are getting the attention they need in this area, especially in our community. And so, just seeing the camp, the way Colin came in, and one thing I noticed, Colin is a Capricorn like me. Capricorns are very observant. So I was just observing, and the kids when they first got there, they really kind of probably had anxiety. They were not really opening up. They were kind of, they just really had to kind of get into the flow of things. But after Colin came in and Michael came in, we'll talk about Michael later. But the kids when they left, they were not the same kids when they got there.
Nope.
And including my grandson Jules, son Jules. So and for him, he has the same issue. He has the social thing. He doesn't do good in social environments. He's got the speech thing and all of that. So all of these kids have something different. And then one of my fraternity brothers was there too with his son. So man, it was just a great event. So just talk about again, what you guys are bringing to the community with this need, and just kind of how you see things going from here.
So, what Colin's vision is for the foundation is to actually have somewhere for the kids to eventually go and be able to do whatever, thrive like a gym.
Hmm.
But until we can get to that point, um, like the whole plan was for us to get together at least twice a month, maybe once a month starting off, and do different activities. Um, Maybe it's going to the movies, maybe it's going skating or bowling or even like a park run or something like that. But I do want to get our babies on this side of town. I keep emphasizing that because there are resources and things
Hmm.
for our autism babies to do in the north on the north side. But over
Yeah.
here, there's not very much for them to do.
And that's gonna be eye opening, but it's gonna be like it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that.
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
It's very
So
unique.
I'm my son's friend. So
Hey, listen.
you
When
know.
I what my dad said was absolutely correct. When we came and when just even with Jules, I can just talk about Jules. When we first came, they left. They were totally different kids. Totally
Mhm.
different. The way when he came, the way when he left, it was just he was just. I guess he kind of does that to where once he realizes who he's surrounded with, he's surrounded with family or familiar faces or whatever. That he just kind of comes out of his shell or whatever. But I mean, like when we left, he's never talked. He does talk about Clay all the time, but he never talked about Colin. But when we left, he's talking about Colin. You know what I'm
Oh, he
saying? And
did.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
He mentioned Colin to me a couple times, and then he was just kind of curious on like why is like Colin? What's the big deal? So I showed, so I showed Colin like
I love that. I
he
love
was
that.
just
He don't
like
know who he is.
nah, he was just
I
like
love that.
he asked me why is Colin so strong. You know what I mean? And so he's trying to figure out in his mind what is the deal with Colin? Why is he such an important person? So I had to explain to him. So I had to go through our phones. I showed him pictures of little Colin. I explained to him whatever. And I showed him pictures of like what we got playing in the background on this video. I showed him
Mhm.
pictures of highlights of Colin. You know what I'm saying? So now he understands. You know what I'm saying? So now he
Okay.
understands the football thing. Now he understands. But like my dad said, I mean that was so unique and it was such a great experience just being there and just it was everybody was just so positive, everybody was all smiles. And then something that really jumped out to me, jumped out to me was everybody flocked to Colin. I was thinking it was gonna be like when Colin got okay. When Colin got there, everybody was just like everybody went nuts. I mean, like I didn't even see Colin, but I could tell he was there because
Yeah.
of how everybody started acting. But they didn't do that with Micah. They did that with Colin. So it was just like you know what I mean. Micah was just
I didn't
there.
even know Michael was there.
Nobody did because he was over there with us, and you know he was talking. That's another thing. I was just like, Michael was talking to Aunt Ramona like like he know her. Like I mean, like they do know each other. That's why I was like, yo, Michael was talking to us like we were like you know that was crazy.
So we're
And
talking about Michael Parsons. So he came to the camp, and so Jules, I sent you a couple of pictures, but yeah, so it was just interesting the way Micah came in. He just kind of melted into the crowd. He jumped in and was working with the kids. He didn't big time everybody, so that was really cool.
yep.
And then, but yeah, Colin, the way he worked with the kids, I mean, it was just amazing to watch. I just sit back and observe. I was just trying to kind of stay in the background there and just support the kids. But the volunteers, just
Oh my God.
amazing.
Yeah,
They
that was
were.
crazy. And
They
then for
were
them to
so
have
awesome.
then for each
Each kid
child
to
to
have
have
their own volunteer,
that was wild to me. I was just like, you know, because it was just like, you know, I hadn't experienced nothing like that to where I like, you know,
and
my
the
son
kids
had.
stayed with the volunteer because I was expecting Jules to at any moment to just bounce, but he stayed with her
I
the
was
whole
too,
time.
expecting some of the kids to like not want to participate, want to go into, how they go into their little bubble and just want to do their own
Right.
thing. I was
Hmm.
expecting
Familiarity.
that.
Too.
And none
They
of them
wasn't doing that.
did.
No, no, no.
Yeah, none of them did.
Those volunteers was on point. That
They
was
really were.
probably the best. That was
Now,
probably
were
one of the
you nervous the night before the event? What were your feelings the night before?
I was probably nervous like 2 weeks up into to the event because you never. So let me,
I'm
full
about to say we was
disclaimer, let me
talking.
tell you what happened to
Yeah.
us. So people don't like to read.
Mm.
So we had to do damage control. I ended up having to call a lot of the people who registered for the camp
Oh
and say,
yeah.
"Hey, this is for special needs kids. Is your baby,
Yeah,
has your baby been
Hmm.
diagnosed with
your,
something?"
your mom
So
told me
it
about
just made me nervous. I was like, "Oh my God, I don't want it to be like this is a modified camp. This is not going to be what people think it is.
it. Mm-hmm.
It's not real footballs we're throwing to these kids. It's not real route running. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? It just
Hmm.
was. So I was nervous. I was like, people gonna show up with their kids and think this is a regular camp, and it's not.
It's not.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
had to do damage control for a long time, and people don't answer their phones, so that part made me nervous. But everything else turned out really well. It was well organized. I was surprised for that to be our first event. I was surprised at how nice it came out.
Yeah, so I share with you that I've had to do events like that. So, just doing the snacks, the food, the signage, getting the volunteers. It's a lot of work. That's
It
hard
is.
work. And so, I thought everything just turned out great. I mean, everybody that all of the volunteers, like you said, it was just an amazing event, for the kids. And so the kids, like I said, they were better when they left than they were when they got there. So that's a picture of our family right there. But yeah,
Colin made
man, it was
Colin put everybody at ease. It's just
yeah.
like when he came in, he kind of
Mhm.
took over. Everything was kind of like when we was there before Colin got there. Of course, Monica had everything. You know, everything is. You know, Monica was gonna be nervous. I already knew that. But we already knew everything was gonna go great too. We knew that. But when Colin got there, it's kind of like Colin kind of took over. It's kind of like now we kind of follow. Colin just took over, and everybody kind of calmed down after that, and everybody kind of it just flowed after that. You know what I mean?
It did,
When
yeah.
so, that's what I was telling my dad, like shout out to Colin because Colin normally Colin is more reserved, he's more like he I don't want to say shy, but he's just like, he's a gentle giant, you know what I
Kind of
mean?
like me.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like Uncle
Pretty
Paul.
quiet.
Right. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But but he's full of personality, but you have to know him in order to get that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But the way that he was with the kids, that was what's up to me. I really tip my hat to him for that because that was awesome to me for me to see that.
Well, he loves kids, so I already knew he was It was whatever the kids want to do. Let's have some fun.
He
Yeah,
did that, and the kids were
Yeah.
coming up with some of their own ideas, and he just kept it going.
he just
So
flowed
Hmm.
with it.
yeah, shout out to you and Colin. Just an amazing job
Thank
with
you.
the camp. Everything was terrific. We talked about that weekend. We've been talking about it ever since. And but
Yeah.
yeah, it was amazing thing. So coming up on a new season, we're excited for you, excited for Colin. Like I said, we're gonna come down and attend the game. And so the last thing we're gonna do is we gotta unfortunately talk about these Cowboys. So I don't know if you're a Cowboy fan or not. I know you're no Paul was a big time Cowboy fan. So we're doing our Cowboys content and we veer off the Cowboy subject too.
I
But
can't answer this question, y'all. Can't put me on the spot like
do
that.
you
No,
have
what?
a favorite team?
Come on now. I don't. Y'all, listen. I literally just started watching football 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was college football. Like I taught myself the game
You know what I be
because I
thinking? I
was.
be thinking to myself, I be like, yo, when Colin, if God blesses Colin and he goes to the league, what are we gonna do? Because what happens if he goes to like the Eagles or something? It's just like we're gonna
Yeah.
have to
What are y'all
literally,
gonna do?
we're gonna have to switch. That's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to have a I'm gonna have to have a jersey that has his team on the back and the Cowboys on the front, or vice versa. I don't know
And
what
that's
I'm
what
gonna do.
that's what most families do. They
That's
just
what
have
we're
they
gonna
have
have
to
to
just
do.
make it happen. Yeah.
I would just be thinking to
Yeah.
myself, like, Lord, what's gonna happen? I'll just pray that it's, I'd be like, man, what if it's the Commanders? Or what if it's like a team that I despise, like Green Bay? I think it's gonna be a team like that. And I'm gonna have to do that. But that's how you never know what life brings you. And that's what
Right.
it's gonna bring. You know what I mean? But Texas, man, Texas, it's all about Texas right now. Now, when I was
Yeah.
growing up, now Vince Young, now that was that game when they won that championship, that was crazy.
It was.
I ain't never experienced nothing like that. And then how he came back on the last play of the game and won, that was just that was that was
It
crazy.
was phenomenal for
It's
sure.
phenomenal. So Texas is kind of like back on the throne now because for a while they wasn't. But then like for the last, I don't know, maybe 3, 4 years, they've been back on the throne. And so
They've been doing that
everybody
thing for sure.
everybody loves Texas now. And they one of the most, they like I said, they are outstanding school. You graduate from there, you can write your ticket. You know what I'm
Oh, for
saying?
sure.
Yep. Yep.
They
So
gonna do
they're
their thing
they're
this
back
year.
on top.
They back
And
on top. They gonna do their thing. I think that they gonna do their thing. It's gonna be the same teams in the playoffs again, and they gonna do their thing. They got to get their revenge. They got to get their
Oh, for
revenge
sure.
on Ohio State, and they got to get their revenge on Georgia.
Georgia. Oh,
Yeah,
listen.
we got to
I
get
can't wait.
yeah.
We have to beat Georgia. We
We
can't
got
get
to
over the
yeah,
Georgia hump.
yeah,
right.
But we
they're
have to
gonna
beat
spin
them at
again.
their field.
Yes, it's just like the Cowboys in Green Bay or the Cowboys in the 49ers. We got Texas. We got to beat Georgia. I got that
We
game
have to.
circled. I got 2 games circled on my calendar. I got the Georgia game circled, and I got the A&M game circled. We got to dog A&M out. We just got to.
Well,
And
now you know they did pretty good this past year.
but they always just, they just a thorn in our side.
Oh my God.
We got to get
Oh,
them.
I don't even know how people go to games, A&M games. That was
I'm telling
different.
you, that's different. If I had to choose a game to go to, if I had to choose a game to go to, it would definitely be the Texas A&M game, and
You
I would hope it would be at Texas A&M. That's what the game that I want to go to, because that'd be crazy.
Now they're playing at Texas this year, right?
Yeah, they playing it in Austin, but
mm,
when they play at what is that field called? What is A&M field called?
Kyle Field.
That right there be crazy. It's like going into the enemy's territory.
It's
You
I
like
know?
don't
going to
even I can't
Michigan
even
or
speak
Ohio
on it.
State.
Yeah, it's like going to
Yeah.
Michigan or
It's
Ohio
different.
State. Yeah.
They are obsessed with
Yes.
Hmm.
they are obsessed with their football team for
That
sure.
yes. That's why
It's
that's
almost
why we
like a
got it.
cult.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yes, it is. It's a cult like following. That's why I got that game circled because I like to take the air out the crowd. You know what I mean? Like we gotta just,
Yes.
they're like a thorn in our side, A&M. So we gotta get A&M. So and
They're
Georgia.
they're Texas little brother, but
They are.
and no shade to Texas A&M fans. Somebody might be watching our show that's an A&M fan. Sorry
That's
about
what
that.
I
But
heard.
yeah, but That's what it is. But well, we promised we were not going to have Monica long, Jules. So do you have anything else so we can let her get on with her evening? And we appreciate you joining. Anything else you want to wrap up with?
Me and Monica are gonna. We're supposed to be doing a documentary to where we're gonna talk about raising a black athlete and how mommy manager and how she's just doing so many things and how she's been successful and all of this. So y'all stay tuned
Mm,
for that. And I'm gonna get
yeah,
with Monica. We'll be coming out with that, and I'll be doing it
yeah.
promotion. I'm gonna try to make this a big deal. I'm trying to make it a big thing. Like it's gonna be part of my senior year projects at school. I'm gonna try to put a lot of resources into it. So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be dope.
So I do think Monica has a really good story that other parents need to be, aware of and just kind of get inspired by. So that'll
Mm-hmm.
be something great. And so I'm doing the same thing you're doing, Monica, with him and his project. I was like reluctant, didn't want to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be on camera, but you have to do what you have to do to support your kids. And
Oh,
so I'm
for sure.
kind of doing that thing. So hey, I understand where you're coming from, and you got to do what you're doing, but you're
Yeah,
doing
it's no longer
just
your
a
life
great job.
anymore. It's
Yeah,
children's
I
life.
know. So
Yeah,
just
but
a great job with everything you're doing. And what were you gonna say, Jules?
she's just leading, but she's leading. She's an example for
Mm,
people like me. You know what I'm saying? She's an example. She's also big. She's my big cousin, but your big cousins are always your examples. But Monica for sure. Like if I had to choose one, it would be Monica because like I said, just to know her story and to see her in action is another thing. You know what I mean? That's totally different. It's eye opening. So it's like I said, she's just an example of somebody we should learn to follow her lead because that's she's doing a great job and it's not easy and she makes it look easy. So
yep,
you know
yep.
like Clayton's Color Crew, like the whole event, you would not have thought that Monica did that by herself or that you would have thought that you wouldn't
Hold
you
on,
would
I
you,
didn't do it by myself.
right, but you would have thought that if this was done by somebody that had been doing this for a long time, and this was a professional type of thing,
Yeah,
that this was like, you wouldn't have known that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Monica's doing her thing, and kudos to you.
So
Well,
as we
thank you. I
close,
appreciate that.
yeah. So shout out to your mom, Ramona Thomas Clarkson, my aunt
Ari,
Aria,
Gabby,
Gabby. Shout out to
Jason,
The
cousin
whole crew.
Cole, my
yeah, the whole
cousin
crew.
Cole. We're in the same Kappa Alpha Psi fraternities. Shout out to the Noops, and so appreciate everybody joining. And Monica, thanks again so much. And we'll try to do something with you like mid season just to kind of get your temperature check,
Okay,
Yeah,
see where we are on the playoffs and all of that. And we'll
let's
just
do it.
make it a fun thing.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all having me.
No, no problem. So yeah, are we gonna we'll go ahead and
And
wrap up, y'all. Oh, go
and
ahead. What you?
tell Clay he has an open invite
Yeah.
anytime he
Oh
want to
man.
come
I
over.
will be over
And
there tomorrow then.
hey, he
Clayton has
he
been wanting to get in the pool.
I told you last time he was here, he's at home. So it's an open invitation, and we here. So that's what
Clayton
we
came
did
in.
it for.
Clayton had came in. I didn't even see Monica yet, and I was just like, "Well, Monica must be here because
Because
Clayton is in
Clay
the
is here.
pool, playing
Yeah.
playing
He
with
was
Jules."
so excited.
Man,
Clayton, when you tell Clayton you going to a birthday party or a pool party, he is excited.
he be having his
He
And
swimming
is
trunks on.
excited.
He
He
be ready
got
to
out of
go.
my car and ran across the street into the backyard. So he
and that
is
day
so
he was
excited.
here, he just mixed in because it was like a whole lot going on, and I was just kind of quiet later on when he kind of got quiet and he kind of had it to himself. So that was like, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
let's let him just kind of do his own thing here.
But
But
Jules is waiting on Clayton because like the last couple of I don't know, probably like the last 5 or 6 event. That's been his buddy. They've been together at the last little
Yeah.
hmm
family functions. So
yeah,
Jules
Oh,
be
for
waiting on
sure.
Clayton.
they got a
Yeah,
great
yeah,
relationship.
they do.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Monica. Well, we appreciate it once again. Okay.
No,
all
thank
right,
you
And
guys.
love you,
Love y'all
Monica.
too.
Everybody, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and please share this video. And we'll